It is just a huge honor for me today to be podcast interviewing Dr. Nammy Patel. She operates a practice called Green Dentistry in San Francisco and specializes in holistic functional dentistry and prides her office on having the most high-tech equipment with relaxing, luxurious spa-like amenities. Nammy is a graduate of the University of California School of Dentistry and is a leader in the movement to bring environmental sanity and well-being into the dental world. She focuses on helping patients recognize the vital connection between dental health and whole body health. She is the author of Age with Style, Your Guide to a Youthful Smile and Healthy Living. And I know everybody right now in Kansas is saying, why are all them people in California? Does California just attract all the natural environmentalist holistic dentists or why is that?
You know, Howard, you're probably right. California does attract people who are interested in alternative care and holistic lifestyles and anything that's beyond Western medicine. So absolutely. It's just a culture. People are here very educated. They're very open-minded. They're very spiffy. They're open to ideas. They're open to a different way of thinking outside the box, looking at what else is out there that may be better. So California and San Francisco, or the Bay Area, to be specific, is very open to alternative care.
So do you know when you're in San Fran on some top of a mountain, there's the biggest cell phone tower ever? Have you seen that?
Yes.
So I have 4 boys. My 2 oldest boys have been in the middle to the top of that tower for the last year.
What are they doing there?
Yeah, it's the craziest thing. They went to college, they went to NAU, but their sport was rock climbing. And when they were in college, the cell phone tower people would come by and say, I'll give you $1,000 cash if I can drive to this tower and you climb up and install this Verizon box. And my boys, they always thought they knew it was a scam. But the bottom line is nobody will climb those towers. And then he learned that if you learned how to weld, anyway, the starting welding is $80 an hour. And my boys are now at $120 an hour. And they can work all the hours they want on any of these towers because it's an essential service. You know, you can't have cell phone towers go down. But every day I get the most beautiful pictures of San Francisco. And when I look at them, I thought, I wonder where Nammy is. Where is she? So if I'm on the tower looking at the ocean, just tell me, are you left or right?
I am I'm Union Square, so right in the center of town.
Huh. And then I want to say something about the holistic deal because it's got to be some weird emotional trigger word with dentists because dentists, you know, I don't know what it is, but, you know, you say holistic and they're like, you're crazy. And then when they get sick, isn't it funny? When they get high blood pressure, they never do what the doctor says and take the high blood pressure and do. They all of a sudden start saying, well, I'm going to do this by reading the K factor where you need 4 potassium for 1 sodium and is written by an MD. And they're just the most holistic people I see. And then I say, oh, you're a holistic dentist. No, I'm not. Did you just call me a quack? And so it's like, dude, holistic to me, the consumer knows that polyphagia, by the time you're on 5 prescriptions, you're just going to fall apart and die. Yeah. And all they're saying is when they're holistic is that they don't trust just having everything given a prescription pill.
Absolutely.
And that's how every dentist I know is. But if you asked all 2 million dentists on earth, what percent of you are holistic dentists? What percent would say yes?
Probably 1%. And you know what I actually think about...
and then when it's about them, it'd be all of them.
Yeah. And one of the other thing I would say, Howard, is the real big difference really between holistic dentists is really, you know, when it comes to dentistry, it's really slowing down the dentistry and focusing on the prevention aspect of dentistry. So often dentistry is so go because we have to see so many patients or there's so much to do and things of that nature that we kind of don't get the time to slow down. And that's really the distinction when it comes to holistic dentistry versus traditional dentistry. And of course, the approach really looking at, like you said, studying what is out there that can solve their problems in the most natural way possible.
I wrote a book. You wrote a book. I always said, you know, writing a book's like having a baby. I mean, it takes 9 months to make. But usually there's something behind that. I love your book. It only has 5-star ratings. It's Age with Style, Your Guide to a Youthful Smile and Healthy Living. And I didn't like the first paragraph where it said, if you're already short, fat, and bald, this book is not for you. You need to go take a dirt nap. But what was going on in your life where you just wanted to sit down and commit to a book?
I really was looking for a life purpose. I'd gone through a breakup and I thought, dentistry's been my purpose for a very long time. And then went through the breakup. I thought I was supposed to get married and have children. It turned out that wasn't it. So I
You
went
lucked out.
on
You
I
lucked
lucked
out. Close call, but you lucked out.
And then I went to a vision quest and I just was like, well, what am I here to do? Because I know I'm here to help people. And so one of the things I realized by writing a book is that I can help answer a lot of questions for a lot of people and from a patient perspective. Because as dentists, we have a lot of knowledge and it's sometimes hard to explain it to patients. And so what I found is that this book was really great because it really helped me realize we all want to live. I know I want to live till I'm 120. And that's why anti-aging is really important for me. And it also starts really early. If we're starting anti-aging at 50, it's too late. We need to start looking at anti-aging effects at 35, 30, because all of those systems really, what you do in your 30s really makes a difference in your 50s and in your 60s. So I really wanted to pass that message along and how we can do that with my passion, which is dentistry. So the whole vision started with, what is my next step? Well, what is my purpose? If it's not marriage, then what is it? And it turned out to be the book.
So this is the best. Seriously, this is the best news I've heard. So what you just said is the quart of Jameson I drink tonight won't hurt me till I'm 78. 20 years.
Well, how much Jameson you drink?
I'm
If you drink Jameson every night
I'm
for
just
the
kidding.
next.
But the other thing with the book is one of my idols is the oldest company in a country is it means something. What the oldest company in Japan is that's still running? Nintendo.
No way.
And it started with playing cards. And it started out as a game, and when I had my 4 boys, we bought this Mario 64 thing, and I'd come home from work, and there were 4 people, and Zach was too little to play, but he loved watching, and we actually, I thought, okay, you get 120 stars, this will be a fun game. I've never done it before, and it'll take us a week or two. It took 2 hours every night after work, 7 days a week, for almost 6 months to get all 120 stars. I mean, the last 4 stars, it was just crazy. But my favorite quote from him, the guru of that now is Shigeru Miyamoto. He says, a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. And when you're writing a book, I'd rather, I used to say in dental school, I'd rather go slow and get an A than hurry up to get a C. I mean, you just, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry to get a C or a D. And when you're writing a book, you got to fill it. And it's something I've had to do with my monthly column. I tried in the beginning, they'd say, okay, the first Monday of every month at 3, we're going to sit down and write your column. You might not be filling a damn thing on the first Monday at 3 o'clock. I always waited till I was driving home and was in a rant, you know what I mean? And I realized, okay, that you need to stop right now and write your column. Only write your column when you're in the mood, And so when you set out to write a book, how long did it take you? Start from the idea, I'm writing this book, till it was sent off to Amazon.
It was, I would say 9 months to write the book, but once I officially committed to starting it, but from the vision to the actual starting, it was about 1.5 years.
Yeah, that's a hell of a commitment. So looking back, are you glad you had that baby, or do you wish you never would have had it?
Oh, I have to say it's the hardest thing I ever did. I thought going to dental school was the hardest thing I ever did. Then I thought starting a practice from scratch was the hardest thing I did. And then I have to say writing a book on top of it, it is by far the hardest thing to do.
Well, a lot of people say the book is a new business card. I mean, you go back to 1980, if you had a business card, you'd stop like, wow, this dude's got his own business card. And now it's kind of the book. Do you think it adds to your marketing is just storytelling? I mean, do you think it's a much greater Nammy story that she's an author of a book on Amazon?
I
with
feel like
only 5-star reviews?
I feel like that helps for sure. I feel like the patients really, what I feel like matters more is the speaking engagements. When I go out and speak in communities or speak on a functional medicine panel about dentistry and how important it is, I feel like patients really respect that and they really appreciate the authority that comes along with going out and having that community and being around other movers and shakers in the local area. And also, sometimes being on the news, sharing my secret recipes of my toothpaste or my mouthwash that I've made personally. Those are things that patients really value.
So here's the what it says on Amazon.com. Age with Style: Your Guide to a Youthful Smile and Healthy Living by Nammy. And it says, Nammy Patel is a holistic dentist who is passionate about seeing her patients' health while running her dental practice in an environmentally conscious way. Dr. Nammy was instilled with values of conserving, recycling, and respecting the environment as a child. She was born in India and moved to the U.S. with her family at the age of 5 and has maintained those values since. Dr. Nammy put herself first through college, then through dental school at the University of Southern Cal. After graduating with honors, she was offered several positions as a drill and fill dentist at various practices. She turned them down, decided to bring her vision to life of having a practice that provided outstanding patient care while being mindful of environmental impact. Green Dentistry was founded in 2005, the first dental practice of its kind in San Fran. Not only are the techniques and materials used in dental care services safe, but the building materials and furnishing were chosen with care too. The LEED LEED certified office is composed of recycled contents, and the furniture is free of harmful chemicals. It has energy efficient lighting, uses glass rather than disposable cups, and is working towards going paperless. Dr. Nammy is growing a nonprofit to bring greener dentistry to India. These are just a few of the ways green dentistry. I'm in love with you, and I haven't even met you yet. Number one, you go to these dental schools, they all say, I think I got too much student loans. I'm not going to help my practice. I think I better just work for a big DSO. And I say, okay, well, that's a great idea. It's 2020. Let's go back 5 years to the class of 2015, and we should go to the class. They were all saying the same thing they're all still there living happily ever after. And then you go back 5 years. Every single person has had one job per year. They just burn and churn. They start at Western Dental, and then this, and then that, and then that. And then finally, they're so burned out, they're so fried, they hate themselves so bad that's worse than the fear of opening up their own business. And then they finally open up their own business and live happily ever after. I graduated May 11, 87, was open September 21, 87. I mean, it took me like 110 days. Why do you think millennials, instead of just walking out of school and diving into the deep end, why do you think they want to walk around the pool for 5 years, sticking their toe in the water, seeing if it's warm enough to get in yet?
To be honest, my experience has been that millennials want a balance of life. They don't necessarily, starting a practice is a lot of work, and you kind of wear 21 hats or all the hats in the practice all at the same time. They're not necessarily looking for that. They're looking for a work-life balance so that they're able to go to work and they're able to go have fun. They're able to do what they really desire. And work for them is not the number one priority. Their lifestyle is. And what I have heard from a few millennials that I have interviewed, it's really that they don't want to take on that responsibility. There's also a lot of fear with not knowing what to do. They want some mentoring. They want to be able to learn the ropes with somebody else before they start their own practice and kind of dive their roots in. And some of it just feels like they're looking for more direction. They're not really rooted in what exactly where they want to be, number one. Number two, what they really want to do. They may go through a career shift. They may start as GP and 2 or 3 years later end up in tech or end up in law school or what have you. So what I've heard, especially in the San Francisco area, is that they're really just getting to know dentistry. They're really getting to know and have a relationship with it, see what it's like to be in private practice, and being able to do that without taking the stress on of owning an own practice.
My 4 boys have turned into 6 grandkids, so I'm really curious. You left India at 5 and came to America. I got half my grandkids are under 5. Do you remember anything from India at 5? You
I
do?
do. I do. And I actually, I just got back. I was in February, my nonprofit came into fruition. So
It's
I've
called what?
it's actually through AIF. It's America India Fund is a company that I'm working with. So what I've done is outsourced, instead of building my own building and doing all of that, what I did is I am on the board for a nonprofit called America India Fund and or India America India Foundation. And what I did with that organization is they what they do, they act as an intermediary, and they actually leverage what the resources already there are in India, and they actually make it more efficient so that I'm able to treat more people. So this year alone, we're treating 13,000 individuals. And I was just there in February, working with that. And I'm actually going to show you a picture since we're on Skype here. This is my picture from there.
Holy moly.
Isn't it darling?
You have so many looks. I mean, every single picture of you. It looks like there's like 5 girls in your family, and then you start digging deeper, and it's all the same girl. But so it's the American India Foundation or Indian?
Yes, America India Foundation.
Okay. And I noticed you had what do you call the red dot on that picture there?
Yes, the
Now,
bindi.
is that something in Rome? Be Romans when you go back to India? Do you always put that on? Does that mean Hindu or what? Or
Oh,
what does that mean?
you don't have to necessarily put the bindi on. We had
What
it
do you
done
call it? Bindi?
a bindi, yes,
A bindi or just bindi?
bindi, BHINDHI,
Okay, BHANDI.
BHINDHI, or
Okay.
BINDHI. Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't realize. I mean, I've lectured in India several times, and I didn't get that one up. By the way, I got to tell you, the first time I lectured in India was so I grew up Catholic in Kansas, and when you grow up, my 2 oldest sisters went straight to the nunnery after high school. So Mother Teresa Calcutta was the #1 homie in our house. Period. I mean, it just was. And then Pope John Paul II was the man guy. And Mom would always tell us, Mother Teresa Calcutta, she's from India. They don't eat any of this stuff. They only eat fruits and vegetables. So she had me totally believing that Mother Teresa was like they're the healthiest eating people in the world. So then I go to New Delhi and I go lecture, right? So I went to like 10 different dentist houses and, over the course of the trip. Every house you walk in, they greet you with a big old tray of sugar cookies, tea with sugar. And I'm like, these people, I wish my mom was here. These people eat more sugar than anyone in Kansas. But anyway, it's funny how that happened. But go on with your story about that. Over there, you're treating 15,000 people?
13,000. It's 13,000 per year. So this is a project I've put into motion, and it's a 15-year vision actually. One of the things I wanted to do 15 years ago when I started dentistry is, to give back to the community. And especially for me, I was born in my own village, in my own house in India. So it really appealed to me to be able to have some sort of a way to give back. And been so delighted to find American Indian Foundation to be able to work with them. And then finally this year to see it manifest has been amazing. Can I tell you how this trip was just magical?
And when was it?
I went in February. So the first week of February, we had the organization actually works with many sectors, and the dental sector is the first time they're doing that with me. So it was really wonderful to go out and work with the little kids and teach them oral hygiene instructions, teach them how important teeth are and how they're related to the rest of the body, and what they can do to make sure that they can keep their teeth long term and avoid cavities, of course.
And I always thought it was very, very spiritual tonight. Whenever I took my boys on a mission trip, I remember the first time I took all 4 of them down into a Mexico mission trip, and we just left Arizona and we went down there. And I remember, I think my boys were like 2, 3, 4, and 5 or whatever. But Eric said to me after a day that night we were going to bed, he says, "Daddy, how come they don't have trampolines?" So he's looking at some kid's house, and the only thing he could register at that age was this kid's missing a trampoline. What the hell's going on here? But do you feel like that when you leave? Probably the nicest city in America is, I would say San Francisco, only because Vancouver, British Columbia is in Canada. I think that's the greatest city. I think San Fran's the second city, and then New York City be the third. I mean, I could live in any three of those. But do you feel like when you live in San Francisco that you lose touch with reality? Then when you go back to an area, I mean, I don't know if the area you're from is poor, middle class, or rich. Which is it?
Well, it was, the area that I'm, it's probably middle class, but the areas that we're doing the nonprofit work is the poor areas. And some of them are the ghettos. Some of them are, I mean, they live in little huts made out of straws. So it's very organic. That would be the right word to use. It's very organic. And it's really just amazing to go there because, to be honest, I've never felt happier in my life. I mean, a stay at the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons. I mean, been there, done that. It's nice and all, but I felt so much happier being on this mission trip and being in India, just playing with these little kids. We got to play games. We got to hang out, and they're just so bright, so full of energy, and just so loving and kind that I was so elated. It was like a dream come true.
So succinctly, what is your goal? You said you got a 10-year goal there. What's your 10-year goal over there?
My 10-year goal is I'm starting this process with the children. So I want to see them throughout life. So the nonprofit basically starts with, the age process. The whole process behind the book was really every age of your life, what should you expect in order to help you keep your teeth so you can live a longer, healthier, joyful life. And so the way this is starting is we're starting with the children and then also the prenatal care. So teaching moms what they should do in order to make sure that their babies are healthy and also have good teeth. And then when the babies are born, starting oral hygiene, also for, breastfeeding moms, making sure they're not getting cavities and things like that. And then through preschool, elementary school, middle school, and then all throughout life. And that's how the project is set together.
Huh, that is, my God, you got more ambition in your little finger than I have in my entire body. That is just, I just love seeing people that have passion and purpose, and I mean, that's just amazing. I had you, I don't know if you guys don't know the background story. We were going to talk earlier, and then the pandemic hit, and then I closed down. We had to close down this whole thing, and then we fired back up. But another thing I was wanting to talk to you about is, and you just said earlier, you're starting to make toothpaste and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about your journey with that.
So, I started with the toothpaste. I've had the toothpaste in my house for the last 15, I would say probably even longer than that. That it's made with a lot of natural ingredients. And my mom had shared these recipes with me, when we were younger, and we just kind of never really, thought anything about it. And then I started being able to share that with patients, which is really wonderful. I decided to share that with patients. And here's my little toothpaste. It has a different Nammy photo, but so it's really great because I wanted to have minimal ingredients because, a lot of the toothpaste cause ADHD and there's so many toxic chemicals in there. And I would personally myself would get sloughing of my mouth because of the SLS. So, that's happened to me for till I probably maybe my teenage years, I want to say. I've had that issue. So I've always used all natural toothpaste, and this one's really simple because I wanted to update it. In our house, we used, coconut oil, and then we used like a little bit of salt in it in order to make it abrasive, and a little bit of oils like neem oil. And so the one I made is with coconut oil, peppermint oil, Himalayan salt, volcanic ash, and On Guard oil. These are all great oils to help with gum health, and it just gives a really nice, fresh taste. I personally love coconut oil for everything, and especially for geriatric patients, it helps hydrate the mouth, so that way they're dealing with dry mouth a lot. So this is really great. For my younger patients, they love it because we're able to whiten their teeth. Coconut oil naturally whitens the teeth. So that's really nice. And I love using it on, to be honest, on veneers and crowns because it gives it this really beautiful luster. Because when we're using regular prophy paste on veneers, it dulls them. So, and continuous use
It's so funny. This is the second time I'm hearing this story. So we'll go back in my journey. When I got out of school, I met do you remember Bob Ibsen?
No.
Ah, God. Am I that old? Anyway, I'm 58. I'll be 58 next month. He died a few years ago, but he was an optometrist, so he knew about eyes. And then he became a dentist, and then he was in Santa Maria, California, and he knew girls like you didn't want amalgams. So he started dental materials called Denmat, and him and Marcy started that. And then when the veneers came out, he said the Crest and Colgate is doling the deal. So that's why he started Rembrandt. And he used to tell me, he told me something I'll never forget. He goes, I don't know what's wrong with dentists. He goes, dude, they sell $1 billion worth of toothpaste a year. If you just got 1% of that market, he says, are you telling me that if 100 patients come in, they all want the same toothpaste? He goes, why do you roll over and do that? And so you reinvented the wheel again, and you're seeing different needs. The first thing I notice is that toothpaste is in a jar instead of a tube, and I'm noticing that the first time they came out with Uncle Tom's all-natural toothpaste, I told my sister, we'll run over there to Walgreens and get some. I want to check this out. And I'm like, okay, I'm a doctor, and I can't even read the names of all the chemicals in here. Is that how do I have 9 years of college and don't even know what's in all natural toothpaste? So what's your review of Uncle Tom's all natural toothpaste?
I have used Uncle Tom's before. Personally, I don't love the taste. I've tried so many different toothpaste. Like the newest one I just tried the other day. Somebody sent it to me. It's called Happy, and so it's a tablet. So you actually chew it before you brush your teeth. It's a fascinating concept, but at the same time, I just like simplicity. I don't believe in overcomplicating things. I believe in simplifying things. So my preference, of course, is my toothpaste because I also made it. I feel like I'm gonna be partial to it.
Okay, where is your toothpaste? Because I'm on your website.
I sell it on Amazon, but mostly I'm not doing this to make money off of it or anything like that. I'm just doing it because I love it. I'm just sharing with my patients. But it's not
on your SF for San Francisco. So her website is SF Green Dentist. But
yes, it's not on there. I should put it on there, actually. No, I should, but it's on Amazon. You can purchase it off of Amazon. I have a business account through Amazon.
Okay, so where do my homies go?
I'll send you one.
Okay, but just for a link on that poster I have you on.
Okay.
What would how would I find?
Just Dr. Nammy's toothpaste, and it'll be on Amazon. If you just Google, if you go on Amazon, if you put Dr. Nammy's toothpaste, it should be on there.
Okay, we'll see. There it is. TheraBreath?
No, not TheraBreath. Dr. Nammy's. It should have Dr. Nammy's.
Oh, I did the search on the Amazon search bar, and it sent me to that, and that's what Amazon's known for. If you go to Amazon and type in any specific brand name, like say Everready batteries, it takes you right to whatever they're selling with the highest margin. Exactly. So if you go to Google, and let's do Dr. Nammy's toothpaste on Google. So folks, there it is. So I go to Amazon, type in Dr. Nammy's toothpaste, and it lands me on TheraBreath. I go to Google, and it lands me on Dr. Nammy's all-natural toothpaste. Amazon, Jeff Bezos, he's an interesting guy, to say the least.
Very, 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 I would have to say, self-motivated.
Yeah. So Dr. Nammy's all-natural toothpaste contains 4-ounce jar of naturally friendly anti-plaque plus whitening fluoride-free all-natural toothpaste. Natural ingredients are anti-plaque plus whitening. SLF-free toothpaste is thoroughly formulated with 5 easy, refreshing ingredients like peppermint, essential oils to tame bad breath, and coconut oil to naturally whiten and moisturize. This toothpaste helps brush away bacteria, stains, and naturally whitens with minerals and without peroxide. Anti-plaque plus whitening toothpaste. So it's fluoride-free, dye-free, SLS-free, paraben-free, triclosan-free, and gluten-free. Dr. Nammy's all-natural toothpaste all contains no artificial sweeteners and no artificial flavors. No-brainer. This toothpaste is non-GMO, vegan, cruelty-free, never tested on animals, and made in the USA. For every toothpaste sold, we're planting a tree to save the Amazon rainforest. My God, you should be running for mayor. Why are you selling toothpaste? You should be the mayor of San Francisco.
The toothpaste is honestly for my patients. I don't really, people heard about it from one person to another. It's mainly just things that I believe I'm an entrepreneur at heart, but I just wanted to share it. I tried it for one patient, then another patient liked it, and then it just kind of grew out of there. But I don't. I mean, it's not something that I really, looking to put on, make a lot of money out of or anything like that. But it's just something that I really love, and I like sharing it. So
I mean, what? But why not make a bunch of money too?
I could. I just haven't thought about it. I feel like I have to, I just feel like I love my patients. I love my practice. I love the lifestyle that I have. It's super boutique. I, probably see 3 to 4 patients a day. It's perfect. And, I have a good work-life balance. I get to do all my nonprofit work. I get to talk to people like you. And I really get to think about what I want to do next and how I want to give back to the world. And it's really lovely. I really like it. So it would be
And
another project.
where does this all come from? I mean, really. You got people that are all in it for themselves.
Yeah.
And then there's you. Where does this come from? Is this some lecture you got from your mom when you were 3? I mean, where does this come from?
Probably. I would probably say probably not a lecture, but I'm Jain by background. So Jainism is a religion that's focused on the afterlife, and it's about good
say
karma.
that again. It's your
Jainism?
religion. God, I'm learning Bindi. I learned Bindi, and what's the name of this?
Jain. Jainism.
Jain.
Ism. Yeah. So
ISM.
So yes. So basically, what happened is, so there was Hinduism first, then came Jainism, and then they came Buddhism. So it's really interesting because Jainism, really, the focus isn't really just about the cycle of birth and rebirth. The whole purpose of Jainism is to be really mindful and really care about everything every person we come in interaction with, every act that we do, even our thoughts, our behaviors, even our unconscious thoughts. And it's really all about having good, actually, it's not even about we want to have more good karma than bad karma, but really it's about also detachment and coming to a place of total Zen. And really, for me, it's always been about leaving this world a better place than when I came in, and also how can I give back more. And probably a lot of these things, I'd have to say, my religion really put a lot of these things into my head, but also it's a lot of upbringing, because I remember taking classes that were, even in my high school years, taking critical thinking. So really thinking about how we can have greater good of society, and really thinking like, Plato and Socrates, and thinking about how can we make this world more morale, better, more focused. And it's just an innate thing. I feel like it's just kind of in my blood.
That is really neat. So, Jainism, according to Google, is a non-theistic religion founded in India in the 6th century BC by the Jaina Varnama Moravia as a reaction against the teachings of Orthodox Brahmanism. So that's the top of the caste system, right? Brahma bulls
right. Yes.
I'm the untouchable. And still practice there. The Jain religion teaches salvation by perfection through successive lives and non-injury to living creatures. So is that reincarnation then?
It's actually nirvana. So the point isn't to be reincarnated. The point is to, be done with your karma so much that you actually go to a place of nirvana where you never have to be reborn. So there's eternal bliss.
Huh. So is Nirvana, was that your favorite band?
Nirvana was my favorite band, yes.
Was it? Did you like that one? Oh my God, that is.
I did. I'm saying Nirvana was my favorite band. Yes, absolutely.
Oh
and
my
I even
God. And you even what?
I was going to say, I even named my wine Nammy's Nirvana. I made my own wine just for fun. And so I called it Nammy's Nirvana.
Did you really? That is just awesome. And you also got a really good knack for marketing. I mean, all your marketing is Dr. Nammy's Toothpaste. I mean, it's just you really got a lot of flair for marketing. Where does that come from?
Honestly, I didn't even know I had marketing going on. I feel like a lot of my stuff is just things I spit out as far as content, and like I have thoughts, just like for you do your podcast and stuff like that. And I feel like I have a lot of patients who email with questions. So when they email with questions, I just do a video where I just send out or I write a little blog about it. So that way I can just send that instead of repeating myself a gazillion times. So I feel like a lot of the stuff that we get is pretty organic, honestly. I don't really have a huge team that does marketing. In fact, I mean, my staff is really small. We have 6 people on our team.
And those are always the profitable ones. I mean, when you see a dental office and it's got one dentist, one front desk, one assistant, one hygienist, you always look at the numbers and they'll collect like 40 a month and take home 20. And then the doctor's got to grow, and then he grows, and he's got 2 hygienists and an associate, and then you come back 5 years later, and he's doing $100,000 a month, and he looks like crap, and he's taking home 15.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, the last time I saw you, you're taking home 20, and you had 3 employees. Now you got 13 employees, and you look like you're ready to go jump off that cell phone tower. I don't know. It probably comes from just being well-rounded. I'm going to go through the talking points of the toothpaste again, trying to get to where the market is. Well, many people desire whiter teeth. We all know that. A brighter smile, fresher breath. That's all sex-related. I mean, the number one goal of a species is to reproduce, have offspring. 99.99% of all species are extinct, and we will go extinct. It's not a question if we're going to live for eternity. Hell, the sun's going to engulf the earth someday. But the deal is you just try to slow it down. So I call all that peacock stuff. A peacock goes out there and does all that crazy stuff with whiter teeth, brighter smile, fresher breath. And but then let's go on to the more the other things. Titanium dioxide. Where are you and the market at on this? Titanium dioxide, is that a good thing, bad thing? What are your thoughts on titanium dioxide or glycerin? We all know that sodium lauryl sulfate affects canker sores, artificial sweeteners. Because I had mixed feelings remember that what was her name? The hygienist that broke the story of the little blue sparkles in the toothpaste. That they were, found under the gum, those little sparkles. She's like, They're not dissolving. I'm scaling them out under the gum. Yeah. And then the opposing view was, well, maybe the only thing that made that little boy who's been wearing the same Raider shirt 3 days in a row, maybe the only thing that made him brush his teeth was those little blue sparkles. Do you think all those things should go, the artificial sweeteners, the little blue sparkles, and all that stuff? I mean, is that where the market's going?
Well, I feel like more and more, yes. I would have to say the market is going more and more natural. And it's mainly because, not only do we have to worry about toothpaste, but honestly, our food supply. Our food supply sucks. Yeah. And the quality of food that we had, even when I was younger to what it is right now, it's not the same. And it's the additive effect. And there are more children today having food allergies and allergies of some sort, and their microbiome's messed up somehow. A lot of stomach issues. I mean, just all sorts of, a lot of breathing issues. Just so ADHD is super common. It seems like pretty much everyone has it nowadays. And just with the amount of issues that are coming about, I feel like the world is wanting more natural products and doing everything that they can to minimize. And even the air we breathe, it's not as clean as it used to be. With the chlorofluorocarbons and the pollution and things of that nature. Even our cosmetics have so many different processed ingredients in it that it causes issues. So it's the additive effect. And I feel like more and more, at least for me, I know that I choose more natural products any day. And I also minimize. The less I use, the better it is for me. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading a list not long ago. The agency in America that registers all the chemicals and everything, there's 176,000 registered chemicals that are patented. It's like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but you just know that a bunch of people don't need 176,000 registered chemicals. It's crazy. But here's I gotta tell you, I keep seeing, the neatest thing about being old is that you've seen every rodeo 3 times. There's just nothing new when you're 60. I mean, you've seen all. And when I was in school, everybody's really excited because they came out with this really new first-generation electric toothbrush, and it was called Interplaque. Have you ever heard of that?
No, but
yeah. Well, next time next time you go to a dental museum. But anyway, that was the big selling toothbrush, and they were only going to sell it through the dentist, right? So, because they wanted doctor recommended. So I signed up. Everybody signed up, and we were buying these toothbrushes. I don't know what they cost. I think it was like 40, and we were going to sell it for 60. And then one day I sold one, and the lady brought it back 15 minutes later, and she goes, well, I can go to Walgreens. You sold this to me for $60. I was buying it for $40, selling $60. I can go to Walgreens and buy it for $34. And I thought, these bastards are selling it to over the counter. Walgreens gets a cut and sells it and makes a profit. So, and then they keep doing that. Because nobody cares. America, they just need to get rid of the Constitution and put money's the answer. What's the question? It's a whorehouse. How can I make money off you today? So you have the ability, since you're not publicly traded and you're not morally unscrupulous, or what, if I said that right, you could sell it just to dentists, and honestly only sell it to dentists. I mean, you have this bizarre, weird, moral, ethical thing, and nobody publicly traded. I mean, when you're publicly traded, there's only one God, and it's your price stock on Wall Street today. And like Mark Zuckerberg's over in your town right now meeting with advertisers for one reason. They quit giving him money. And he's like, wait, what? I thought you'd throw your mom under a bridge to get more sales. Now you're saying that you're not going to throw your mother in front of a train to get more sales? And you can just tell in his face, he doesn't even get it. He's probably like, what the hell's going on? I mean, it's all about money. And why would you quit giving me $1 if it generates you $4 in sales? And then here you could come along, you're not publicly traded, and you could just actually only sell to dentists. I mean, I guess he's someone like you. You said, I will only sell this to other holistic dentists, no one else. And you would do that. Why don't you do that?
Yeah, I feel like it's a great idea. Mainly it's time and, figuring out the logistics of, getting somebody to make it. These ones I hand make myself. So I'd have to figure out a company.
You're
that would
making
make
the
it.
toothpaste yourself?
I do. Yeah. It's so much fun. It actually is a lot of fun to do. And it's quality of life, right? It's just the things that we enjoy. And I enjoy making it. And I enjoy, I had another life where I had an almond butter company. And so I used to love making that. And it's just
love making almond butter?
Yeah. So I had my own almond butter. So it's a spicy almond butter.
Man, I didn't think I'd live long enough to meet someone who come up to you and say, I love making almond butter. It's like, really? I didn't even know that was a thing. And I also see you mentioned turmeric. My sister's always talking about turmeric. That's a new thing.
So
right?
Anti-inflammatory. It's so good for you. It's super anti-inflammatory.
Huh. Okay. And then you got. And I always start this conversation with the patients. And let's be honest here and transparent. Whenever they say what toothpaste I recommend, I always remind them first that you go back in the day, The earliest research was dry brushing. If you have straight, soft bristles and you brush for 2 minutes, you can remove the plaque. So you don't even have to put all this stuff on. Most of the stuff you put on is the peacock stuff so that someday you can have a date. And there might be some remineralizing stuff with calcium, fluoride, or whatever. But I notice you're a dentist and you went fluoride free. That's kind of like a dentist in Canada saying he likes hockey, the sport that eats more teeth and knocks out more incisors than all the other sports combined. I mean, you'll never meet a professional football player missing their front teeth, and you'll never meet a professional hockey player with front teeth. So do you feel like kind of a Canadian dentist loving hockey to be selling a toothpaste without fluoride? Isn't that kind of sacrilegious?
We don't need it. Like, I don't feel like, especially as adults, we definitely don't need it. I mean, we're not snacking all the time. There are some people who may need it, but I feel like a lot of us don't need it. And why put more things into our body? The biggest issue I have with fluoride is, I'm hypothyroid, so my thyroid's low. So the fluoride ion actually binds to the thyroid and makes it even worse. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I don't recommend fluoride, and I don't use it unless it's absolutely necessary.
So do you take fluoride or thyroid supplement? Do you take
I take 3. Yeah, I take T3. So I do. I definitely am on medication for sure.
That's the only med I'm on. I take 0.875.
Yeah.
T3. And I never knew that. I mean, I'm a dentist. And I really read a lot about it, because what concerned me about hypothyroid is there's a cluster of these autoimmune disorders that when they do the whole family tree, they find the cluster is arthritis, hypothyroid, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, and celiac sprue. And so we look at it, go celiac sprue. We know 3 of them. Diabetes, insulin dependent. I can't say his name because of HIPAA, and my brother might get pissed. And but anyway, we have them all except MS. And I was talking to this autoimmune guy, and he said, "Oh well, I mean, there's someone with MS in your family tree. Maybe you don't know them. Maybe they died, or maybe they haven't been born yet. But it's all a cluster." And I didn't know that fluoride binds to your thyroid. And so I'm T3, so I should go to fluoride-free toothpaste?
Absolutely.
Thanks for teaching me that, Nammy.
Absolutely.
If you got a source or a reference or anything, can you email me that? Or
Sure.
We'll start a thread. Why don't you start a thread on Dental Town that says, can you believe that stupid idiot Howard takes thyroid every day and didn't even know the basics of fluoride? I mean, I'm telling you, there's 3. You sent me that link. There's 3 people in my family that I didn't know that. So that is amazing. But they always say you are what you eat. And Thomas Edison said the only medicine is food.
When did you get diagnosed with your thyroid?
2005.
What happened 18 months before that?
I'm so old, I don't know. What happened 18 months? I don't know.
2005, so 2003, was there like a super stressful period of your in time, or what was happening around those time in 2003, 2004?
I think that's when I got divorced.
Oh, well, that would explain why you got thyroid. It's usually an 18-month after. So whatever happens, usually it's you'll have a period where your system will be super stressed. And it'll be 18 months after that you'll actually be diagnosed with a thyroid condition, because your adrenals goes through adrenal fatigue. Your system gets so stressed out and it depletes your hormones completely, that you end up being diagnosed as hypothyroid. And it's been scientifically proven. And actually, I don't know if I cited that in my book, but in my book, I actually, I think I wrote about it. But typically in my patients, I'll find anytime that there is an issue that they're diagnosed with, usually about 18 months before, something occurred that was really stressful in their lives. So either a divorce, a lot of times, somebody might have lived in a house that they discovered mold in it, whatever, anything like that. But that's usually the link. It's 18 months before you actually got diagnosed. You had a stressful period of time.
Another joyous thing I learned today that I can blame on my ex. Just one more thing I can write on that chalkboard. So basically, is the fluoride free mostly because of thyroid, or is there and the reason I ask is very, very serious, because when I got out of school in '87, I let me tell you how dumb I was when I got out of school. I'm sitting here in UMKC Dental School. I went to Creighton undergrad, Kansas City Dental School. And the hardest thing to get done was our pulpotomy and chrome steel crown. And some rich dentist died, and all of his money went to rent a yellow school bus to go to the poorest schools. And every Tuesday, this school bus would go to the poorest school they could find, loaded up with second graders, come in, and the dental school would do everything to them. So we'd all be sitting there drooling, watching this school bus picks up, thinking, there's got to be a pulpotomy in there somewhere, and just nothing. And you would say to the kid, do you have a toothbrush? No. Do you floss? No. Do you have toothpaste? No. And you're looking at and they just had nothing. Then I moved out. Now that dental school, it was African American, 3-4 miles away. Then I moved out to Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm across the street from the Guadalupe Indian Reservation. And Ahwatukee was probably only about 15% African American. The rest everything, and everybody needed pulpotomies and chrome steel crowns, and I'm just like, because when I left dental school, I just thought African Americans just have perfect teeth. I left dental school just thinking they got a whole nother teeth. When I was in boxing as a little kid, they said, and their jaws won't break. They don't have that boxer's jaw. I just thought it was that. So then I called the Office of Dental Health, and it was Dr. Jack Dillenberg, who later became the dean of the dental school and all this stuff. And I said, Jack, I can't figure this out. Why are there so many pulpotomies and chrome steel crowns? And he said, well, Howard, he said, you were in Kansas City. It's the fluoridated water. Now you're out here in Arizona. And I said, well, I don't want to sit here. And anyway, so we started the Arizona Citizens of General Health. We got water fluoridation passed in 89, and it was crazy controversial. And I even got a death threat. But the police came out to my house, and they went out and talked to her. And since she was like 81 and didn't own a gun, they wanted to know if I want to press charge. And I'm like, hell no. And I talked to her on the phone. I want to go out and talk to her. But she absolutely wanted to kill me. But then it expired after 20 years, and we did it again. And when we did again, my 4 boys were telling me, they said, Dad, have you read the comments on YouTube where the thing was filmed? And if you put fluoride debate fame, anyway, I mean, people are just posting, that guy ought to be shot, that guy ought to be hung, that guy ought to be killed. And finally, one of my boys, Greg, manned up to me, and he said, Dad, knock it off, buddy. If you want fluoride, just knock it off. The people, you're going to get killed one day. So I officially read all those comments, and I thought, you know what? You got to listen to the market. They don't like it. I mean, it's easy for me. I can't give you research because all the middle class and rich buy bottled water, and they don't drink any water fluoridation. Then the kid that doesn't have a dad, he doesn't have any money, he's drinking out of the hose in the backyard, and he's drinking out of the water fountain at school. So it's only really helping the poor. And the Centers for Disease Control gave us epidemiological evidence that proved that water fluoridation in Phoenix in 1990 prevented 875,000 cavities from the year before, their algorithms and all that stuff. But it doesn't matter. If everybody hates purple and they love pink, and you're sitting there, a doctor, thinking, well, actually purple is just pink with some black, so I don't understand the problem here. It doesn't matter if pink is pink and purple is pink with black. It's just so controversial that I'm never going to work another water fluoridation campaign the rest of my life, because I mean, you can so what's was the no fluoride in the toothpaste just because of hypothyroid, or are you also against water fluoridation, fluoride in toothpaste for other reasons?
I don't get so much into the water fluoridation. Personally, I believe 1 part per million is nothing. It's not toxic enough to cause you any problems. And also, like, majority of my population is adults too. I'm working more with adults, and majority of my population has some sort of a health issue. And, they either have, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, any sort of autoimmune disorders, what have you, a lot of hormonal issues. So I'm dealing with a different population in general. And and personally, for myself, I don't want it. So that's one of the reasons for not having fluoride in the water. Though with the kids, I think that my personal observation is it's the oral hygiene and all those chips and things that they're eating that's really a bigger problem than the water. That 1 part per million, I feel like it's not significant enough to cause a huge damage to an adult or even a child. It's the pills. When they're taking the pills, that's when we're getting the brittle bones, and that's when they're having the issues. So if a parent comes and asks me about a fluoride, I say, hey, listen, if it's a pill form, I do not recommend it. For a child, something that, I feel like water is great. That's totally fine. But really, upping their oral hygiene and really figuring out. My personal favorite is a toothpaste called Risewell, and it has calcium carbonate in it. So it helps remineralize the tooth structure. And it has a ton of ingredients in it, but it has calcium carbonate, which I really enjoy. And it tastes pretty good. So I usually give that to my patients if they needed like a an alternative to fluoride and stuff.
But the Risewell, I'm seeing a plastic container and a plastic lid, and you like the glass jar thing.
I love the glass jar.
So why don't you just? I still can't figure out why you're not ready to run with this toothpaste.
I feel like you're giving me some encouragement, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Howard.
Well, I mean, there's 7.8 billion people, and they all got to brush their teeth once a day.
Yes, and you're twice a day, once a day.
well, I'm just talking research. If you brush your teeth once a day for 2 minutes, that's what you can track that prevents disease and all that stuff. Like Rella Christian, she's a hygienist with a PhD, And she shows that there's zero evidence that a 6-month recall does anything. She can't find it in the disease missing and filled teeth, but a 3-month recall, oh yeah, it's statistically significant. So Rella would say, I can prove in a court of law that a 3-month cleaning does something, but I can't prove that a 6-month. And then I was schooled big time by some hygienists like Trish O'Hare for 10 years. She ran our hygiene town, and she's like, whenever you say toothpaste, she goes, hey, first, let's dry brush for 2 minutes once a day. Let's do that, and we'll talk about flossing and toothpaste and mouthwash another day. But can we just dry brush? So that's my schooling. That's where I'm from. So 10 years with Trish O'Hare, I dry brush for 2 minutes a day, and then all the rest is so you don't smell, stink,
Sure.
all that
the
stuff.
Sexy stuff.
Yeah, the peacock stuff. I mean, if you don't look like a peacock, it's going to come back to bite you. But so I just want to. Am I talking too much about the toothpaste thing?
No, you're not. I feel like it's a great idea. I feel like, it is something that is valuable. And I just really never thought about it, to be honest. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's a really, I feel like I'm getting encouragement to go out, and I'll make that my next project.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's my gosh. I mean, look at Wrigley Spearmint Gum. I mean, that guy. I mean, how many decades has he been gone? And then that company just keeps going and going and going and going. That was a neat story. He was he went and worked for this company, and they were selling something, and no one wanted to buy it. So they come out with this marketing campaign that they'd give if you bought it a can of baking powder. Is baking soda or baking powder? That if you bought a can or a jar of the baking powder or baking soda, they give you 2 sticks of gum, and the sales exploded. And he just says, well, okay, so let me get this right. No one would buy your baking powder, baking soda, but they'd buy it for the gum. Well, screw all that. I'm just going to go start a gum company. And that was Wrigley's.
Yeah.
And you and your ingredient, you all said spearmint and peppermint, and that was his only two. That was his only 2 flavors. Spearmint and peppermint.
And I also have On Guard. So On Guard oil is a combination of peppermint, cinnamon, clove, all these different oils that are really good for the gums and the teeth and give it a really nice flavor. So that's what I have. It's super natural. I'm going to send you a jar. I'd love to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, and my gosh, and again, I think if anybody starts a distribution of only going through dentists and they swear to God they're never going to find it anywhere else, that's the only thing that works. And another podcast I used to do for my B2C podcast. So I started the podcast, actually not Dentistry Uncensored, but Ahwatukee Uncensored. And I started doing the podcast with all the businesses in my little town of Ahwatukee. It's Phoenix, and it's Phoenix, but in Phoenix, there's a park, a mountain range that goes from 50th Street to 50th Avenue, and 90% of Phoenix is north of that. And then behind it is a little sliver of Phoenix that no one knows exists, and it's Phoenix, but everybody there says they live in Ahwatukee. So I started this podcast, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get on all the other doctors, and great network. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So the MDs, not any of them they're all too busy and thought it was silly and stupid and crazy and all that stuff. But oh my God, all the naturopaths, all the chiropractors, all the and then the guy across the street from me selling the car repair guy. We had a whole show because we felt like brothers. We're across the street for 20 years. And I tell you have 4 cavities. You don't know if you have 4 cavities. You have to trust me. He tells you your car needs a new alternator, not a new battery. Mm-hmm. You don't know the difference in an alternator and battery. And we're both selling trust. I mean, we're both selling the invisible. And so we talked about, what goes behind telling someone they need something, and, they have to trust you. And it was great. But I noticed I don't even know how we got on that subject, but all the naturopaths, all the holistic paths. I thought it was so interesting that all the doctors were too busy giving someone a prescription pill every 10 minutes on their routine, but every damn holistic dentist, naturopath, chiropractor would say, well, I can't do it during the day. I'm working, I'm busy. But they'd come at the end of the day and they'd say, yeah, I saw this many people, and I just felt they were 10 times more passionate than all the MDs combined. I mean, I'm sitting here in Ahwatukee right now. It's 80,000 people. I know every MD in this town in Ahwatukee. And my gosh, they're part of the system. They're part of the factory, and they gotta see someone every 10 minutes, and they just sit there like, well, how you doing? You sleep good? I had a hard time sleeping last night. Here's a sleeping pill. Anything else? Yeah, I think I'm getting arthritis. Oh, here's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. Anything else? Yeah, I was sad last week. Oh, here's a. You know, they're just sitting there writing scripts, and then you go to a naturopath, you go to a chiropractor, you go to a holistic person, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah. Do you agree with that assessment? Or not really?
Absolutely. And just like we did earlier, you know, with my patients, we always go to the underlying cause. And even though, you know, I did take my functional medicine, you know, background, I did actually go through schooling for that, which was a lot of fun for me. But I usually like to combine that with my dental stuff. And we'll find that, you know, some people with habits, fear, phobias, and all of that, we can work through a lot of that with NLP techniques, with different techniques to make them feel safe and comfortable. And I absolutely believe that it is so necessary for all of us to be passionate and to give at a level 10 and really focus on breaking this cycle. You know, otherwise it's no point.
Or if you don't want to make and sell and distribute toothpaste and all that stuff, you should make a video on how to make your own homemade natural toothpaste.
Oh, well, I do have one. I was actually seen on ABC, NBC, and KPIX5 News for that. So I will send you a video on that too.
Yeah, and on Dental Town, where there's a thread about you, when you make a reply, there's a YouTube button. So if there's a YouTube video, so you know on YouTube you hit share and it gives you a link. Well, the next button over is embed. You click embed, and that's the code. So on Dental Town, you click the YouTube button, drop in the embed, and now your YouTube video is right there. And everybody in dentistry I know that dropped their YouTube video in a message board said that they got their views exploded, and I would love that. And I think it's cool. There's just something. There's something more healthy psychologically and family to make an apple pie from scratch than going to the store and getting a frozen one. I can see my grandchildren. Oh, I got to send you the video. What was my video? Oh my gosh, I'm going to send you my video, my grandkids. I took my, I had my grandkids in the kitchen. They were sitting around the stove, and I put on the 4 burners on high, and I poured bottled water in one, and then I asked them, well, what's the most healthy thing to drink? And they all said orange juice. Now remember, these aren't my kids. These are my boys' daughters. My boys are always saying, well, you tell my wife that. It's like, I'm not going to stick my hand in between your wife and her baby. Do I look like an idiot? And they're not going to die. So man up, boys. Suck it up, Buttercup. Grandpa I'm just not doing that. And they all 4 said orange juice. So I one poured in a bottle of orange juice. So it was orange juice, apple juice, water, and then for the bad thing, we put in a Coke. And then we boiled them all till everything was gone. And the water just boiled out to this clean pan. And then the orange juice is black tar, and the apple juice, black tar. And I'll send you that video, and it went viral in Ahwatukee. That was on a Ahwatukee Uncensored. And I put that on my website. It's on my website. So if you go to todaysdental.com, you can find it. And my gosh, my grandkids, it's so cute when they come over the house again, they want to do that experiment again. And I want, because of you, the next time I'm with my grandkids, I want to make homemade natural toothpaste.
I love that. Yeah, that would be so fun. It's super easy too.
Okay. And are you sure it's easy?
Yes, it's absolutely easy. I feel like you can totally do it. The kids will love it. It'll be so fun.
Yep, there it is. Today's Dental Hidden Sugar. That was the name of the video. It was Hidden Sugars. Oh, I called it Hidden Sugars, yeah. Dr. Howard Ferran explains hidden sugars to his grandchildren, and it literally blew their mind. Hey, Kyle, it's only like a 2-minute video. Do you care can we put that at the end of this so they can see that as a reference? And then if you send Kyle any of these videos, put them after that. So I'd like to see at the end of this podcast the make your own toothpaste and any of those videos you want. Damn, that would be so cool to make toothpaste. And the the whole kitchen filled up with smoke. It was just a joke. So I'm talking too much about all these other things. I want to get right back to, when did you graduate from school to when did you open up your own office?
I graduated in 2005, so it was June of 2000 or May 2005, and my practice opened. I would say, well, I started renting space from somebody, and so it took me a while to build this space that I'm in currently. I'm on Union Square in the Tiffany Building on Union Square, so it's an amazing location. I love coming to work; it's really a dream. And I opened doors here on 2008. So I literally started my practice as soon as I got my license, it took me 6 or 8 weeks to get my license. So started seeing my first patient on, I would say August 21st, 2005.
And how has your world changed post-pandemic to pre-pandemic? I mean,
Yeah, post-pandemic and pre-pandemic, to be honest, I feel more clear about what I want to do. Where do I want to spend my time and more resources post-pandemic than I did pre-pandemic? Pre-pandemic, honestly, I have to say the book was really busy for me. 3 years, from writing it to going and speaking and doing a lot of those engagements really kept me really busy. And so I was literally out of town every weekend. I probably spent 5 weekends at home.
doing
And
what? What were you doing? What were you doing all these weekends?
mostly giving talks about, healthy living, talking different panels about different conversations around dentistry and health and holistic living. Also learning a lot, going to different conferences and doing getting my functional medicine degree and going through the trainings for that. So I spent a lot of time being really busy. And so, starting this year, and then obviously, in February, I went to India, then, started the nonprofit kind of took off, which was amazing. And literally a month later is when COVID hit. And during the COVID time, I got a lot of time to, rest and relax and spend more quality time with my family, my parents, my friends, and really slow down a bit, which has been really nice. Also gave me an opportunity to kind of look at the next 10 years and see what I want to do next. What is my next project? It looks like it might be a toothpaste. And just figuring out what are the things that I want to change and what are the things that I want to implement to have an easier life and just enjoy life more.
Well, buying commodities and selling brands is how everybody got rich the most. I mean, if you can buy, baking powder, baking soda, buy a commodity and sell a brand. I mean, Starbucks, they buy, coffee beans, and toothpaste is a complete commodity. What I mean by commodity is commodities are things that are only differentiated on price. When I go get a gallon of gas, I don't care if it's from Russia, the Alaskan pipeline, Saudi Arabia. When I get corn, I don't care if it's from Nebraska, Iowa. Corn is corn, gas is gas. Those are all commodities. There's no money in commodities, okay? So, I mean, the average profit margin on the S&P 500 is only a nickel on a dollar. I mean, dentists have no idea what a real profit margin is. The largest grocery store chain in America is Kroger. They own all these brands like Fry's and Dillon's. They have a 1% profit margin. So like making toothpaste, I mean, that's something you're just going to buy some commodities, a glass jar, and I suppose, I mean, I don't know what the active ingredients are, but I suppose it's just like sugar and whiskey just stirred up or something like that. And then, but if you could buy that glass jar and all those ingredients for $1 and sell it for $2, that's how you become a millionaire. You make something for $1, you sell it for $2, you do it 1,000,000 times. It's never complicated. Then I go into your office and I say, oh, you just left the room. You just did a hygiene check. Your hygienist in there making $50 an hour in San Francisco. She did a cleaning exam and bite wings. Tell me, did you net $9.12 after taxes, or did you lose $13? Every dentist in America, I have no idea. And then I walk in there at 8 o'clock. What is your break-even point for the day? I mean, you've had this practice for a year. You work Monday through Thursday, 32 hours a week. What is your break-even point per day? I mean, they just don't know the numbers. But I mean, I'm already listening to what you do. I mean, you could have $1,000,000 by Christmas if you made 1 million jars of natural toothpaste for $1 and had a way to sell them for $2. And the only way you're going to do that is not at Walmart or Amazon. I mean, I already showed you Amazon. I mean, I went to Amazon and Googled your name, and Jeff Bezos said, "Who's Nammy? I'm selling. This is about money." And so Amazon and Walmart and all that stuff. And if you want the 2 smartest businessmen in the world, they're on that cell phone tower right out your window. All you got to do is go to the bottom of the tower and yell, "Eric, Greg, you listen to your dad for 30 years. What would he do regarding this toothpaste?" So what, post-pandemic, what have you bought where you actually spent $1? Did you get air purifiers? Did you get UV lights on the ceiling? What did you actually do that you thought you had to do post-pandemic?
Well, to be honest, I felt like the public health requirements were really nominal, and thank God I'd already designed my practice when I did do it. Each of the operatories have doors made out of recycled plastic. Each of the operatories have one directional flow, so there's air coming in and air being sucked out, so ionic filtration. So I'd already designed all of that, which was really great. But even to take it to the next level, I bought, extra oral air filters and extra oral suctions. The one that I purchased is, I forget the name, but it's really great because it has a dome over it and it, just sucks everything right up. And it has a HEPA filter inside it. I also purchased an additional HEPA filter for each of the operatories, which has a HEPA filter plus a charcoal filter in it. And then I purchased UV lights for each of the operatories. So between patients, the UV lights go off and it does generate ozone. And we wait for 45 minutes for the ventilation to complete before we go back inside. I've also, even when our patients come in, we do spray them down with alcohol. And we even sterilize their cell phones with UV lights to make sure that they're not bringing any bugs in from the outside.
Wow. That is a lot to digest. And do you, my boys are always keep me updated on San Francisco. I mean, so, every day I hear all this about San Francisco. Sometimes they send me articles that, home sales are plummeting, more vacancies. Some people are predicting that maybe Silicon Valley, San Francisco, maybe it's too expensive. Maybe it's not the place to be. Maybe they should just, Eric sent me one the other day where somebody left San Fran and just went like a 1-hour drive into some small town of 10,000 and lowered his monthly break-even point by 20 grand. How long have you lived in San Francisco?
I grew up in San Francisco, so I came here when I was 5, and I've been here ever since. Yeah.
So since you're 5, do you think this is a turning point for San Francisco, or just hype and panic?
I feel like for certain people, it is. It is a turning point, especially with COVID happening, where we're spending more time at home. Why spend all that money on rent or mortgage when you can have something that's more cost effective? When it comes to, just living situations. And especially when you can work from home, you can be in Prague, you could be in Oklahoma, you could be in Texas, you could be, an hour away from San Francisco and not have to worry about that high expense. So absolutely, people are going to take advantage of it. I don't think it's long lasting. Frankly, we put people on Mars. We have to figure out a COVID vaccine. Like that's for me, I can't people panic all the time. And I'm like, wear a mask, sanitize your hands. Like it's not that hard, keep distance. I feel like those are some basic things that we can do in the meantime, but really, in honesty, we have the greatest minds on this planet. I could not imagine us not finding a vaccine. Yes, there'll be people who don't want the vaccine, but it really doesn't matter. We only need 43% in order to have herd immunity. So I am pretty certain that 43% of the population will take the vaccine. Even the natural holistic people will take the vaccine. I know for myself, I will take the vaccine because there is enough data and science that's around it. And also this is something that is a pandemic and people realize, the ramifications of not taking it. So something that's so prevalent and so in their face right now. People who are into natural holistic lifestyles who are, against vaccinations are going to be more open to taking the vaccine once it's out.
So when you were traveling all of this if you go to YouTube and you go to Google image and you type in Nammy Patel, there's like 1,000 photos and I know I sound weird saying this, but what's the weirdest thing is every single photo you look at. I mean, just go to the top row. Okay, that girl isn't the one next. That one isn't the one next. That one isn't the one next. I mean, it's like 5 rows of girls, and they all say they're Nammy Patel. But what were you doing for all these interviews? I mean, it's Nammy Patel on the Health Watch Wednesday. It's I mean, all these interviews, all these TVs. I mean, it's kind of like you're the Rod Stewart of dentistry. What were you doing at all these deals? It was just promoting dentistry? Was it promoting a toothpaste? What's going on with all this?
I wasn't really promoting anything. I was just promoting content. It's really about, like I said, when I did my little vision quest, it was all about helping people live longer, rich, full, joyful lives. And for me, I feel like I have a lot of knowledge in my head. And, the money doesn't excite me. It's not really even worth I'm very comfortable. I've been really blessed in my life. I'm very comfortable with where I'm at. The only thing that really motivates me to do, or it's really how am I going to serve someone, or how am I going to make it? I call it my living legacy, and really how is this going to be helpful, and how is this going to contribute to someone? And a lot of the reasons why I haven't put a lot of my products that I do at my practice out in the world is because I just didn't really see, or really wasn't really aware that people would be interested in a product like this until, you and I have spoken today. But yeah, I'm not really interested in promoting a product. I just feel like there's information, and people find a lot of value in information. And I also feel like information is knowledge, and knowledge is power. So if I can empower somebody to make better decisions for themselves and really get, wish them the best, that's really what I was looking for. And that was really my focus for the book, really, is because there's a lot of fear for patients. There's a lot of fear for people, and just kind of saying something in a way that really helps them understand, a dentist perspective, or even, put it into words so that way it's more digestible for them, is really what I was really going for. And, I feel like it's really sparked a lot of interest for a lot of people, and things that didn't make sense for them. It's like they didn't really get the whole body connection, or they didn't really understand, that it's important. Anti-aging is really important. Going to the sauna twice a week elongs your telomeres, or making sure you get enough sleep, making sure we're looking at sleep apnea is going to be really important. So just really a lot of knowledge and information, kind of like what you do with the podcast. You share your information and your knowledge. You're not really necessarily promoting a product or anything like that, but really sharing your, who you are and what you're passionate about, and really making a difference for a lot of people, because they're going to you for that knowledge about endo, or the podcast about, toothpaste, or whatever it is. So
if you knew what I originally called this podcast name, I don't know. And now that we passed our hour, I can't believe it. We're over an hour. My gosh, it seems like 5 minutes. I was just going to do it laughingly, not for real. But you know what I was going to call the podcast?
What?
Chief Tooth Hugger Nammy Patel at Green Dentistry, inspiring total wellness through holistic and functional dentistry. Do I get to call you Nammy, the Chief Tooth Hugger, or is that fighting words?
I love it.
You love it? You love it being called a tooth hugger?
Oh my God! Yes, I even have the website toothhugger.com.
Oh my God. So we're going to call this one Chief Tooth Hugger Nammy Patel of Green Dentistry, inspiring total wellness through holistic and functional dentistry. Is that too long?
I love it.
Okay.
Now, whatever you want to do is totally cool with me.
But just for some people, I mean, we're talking to a lot of people. What do you, we talked about holistic, which is just whole body, man. If the word holistic triggers you, then why are you a dentist and you're on Dental Town saying my doctor just said I had to take high blood pressure medicine? And I mean, it's so funny. You want to make an MD, DDS, DMD go holistic? Put them on 2 prescriptions. The guy will read 48 books trying not to take a pill, and I'm like, that's what the market means about holistic. They think it means witchcraft, or you're a tooth hugger, or you're some whatever. It's a trigger word. It just makes people go crazy. It's like going up to an Irish person and saying, "What time's closing time?" And they just start freaking out. Last call, and okay, that joke didn't work. And, but you say inspiring total wellness through holistic. We got that. But you say and functional dentistry. What do you mean by and functional dentistry? What is non-functional dentistry?
the whole point for functional medicine is really facts-based versus, just a lot of data and driven data. So, like, for example, when we do deep cleanings on somebody, we do the deep cleaning, we take radiographic x-rays to make sure that the, radiographic calculus is gone. We monitor our patients. We give them the evidence, like this is actually working. When we're doing analysis to really ensure that the work that they're getting done is having an impact. And again, that's the reason why working with the naturopaths and the functional medicine doctors, really putting them on different supplements that really helps them out, it makes a huge difference. And that's what it's all about, is really taking dentistry to the next level. It's not just about, what you do in this office. It's really about working with our other practitioners and making sure they're on the correct supplements, and to make sure that, they're having a better life and that we're resolving it as a whole versus just the mouth.
And I like to ask controversial questions at the very end, so that if you just sit there and say, I don't want to go there, or that was rude or whatever. So now we're entering the twilight zone, because we've went over an hour. But, I'm a man, so I don't think a man can be an expert on being a woman. But sometimes I hear female dentists saying, "Oh, it's a male profession. It's a male club. You're either a male dentist or you're not. You're an outsider." Other people say, "Well, it used to be a lot worse. In 1980. It's not less." Do you feel right now that you're a woman in a man's profession, or do you feel that dentistry, that we're way past that?
Oh, we're way past that. And to be honest, I don't give a fuck. Excuse my
Nice.
language, but I really don't care because I'm not looking for validation. I've never have. I've always done what I've wanted to do. And if you don't like it, turn around, look the other way. I really don't care. And it's same thing with the holistic aspect. Some dentists will be like, "Oh, she's holistic." And yeah, so I am. And if you don't like it, that's on you, not on me. So let me do what I want to do and the way I want to do it. I'm not harming anybody. So peace out.
I know, it's like every time a dentist writes me a letter, at least be intelligent enough to send me an email. But when they actually write a letter, you can't ever read it. You know what I mean? The penmanship is like off the charts. So, it's like some 70, 80-year-old crazy man. And I just take a big red magic marker on every one of them, write "get help," and then I overnight it back. So he gets a overnight from me, and it's his letter with "get help." My gosh, it's a free country. It's 8 billion people. I know I don't want to take a bunch of prescription pills.
Yes. Honestly, I was going to say on the question that you said earlier about men, man's world and dentistry, what I think is actually more of today's arena is really women supporting women. I feel like that's more necessary. I don't necessarily feel like it's the male against the females that's more of an issue. I feel like, and in the world in general, it doesn't have to be specific for dentistry, is what I have seen in my friend circle, or in what they're experiencing in their corporate jobs and things like that, is really what is women are more competitive with women than the men, and I find that to be toxic. I feel like it needs to be women supporting women, and of course women supporting men and men supporting women as well. So.
Yeah, I grew up with 5 sisters. I assure you, they're not getting a mani-pedi and wearing high-heel shoes to impress their husband. It's all the other girls, all the other girls. I mean, if you found a man that's been married 20 years, cut off his wife's foot, and mix it up with 5 other feet, and say, "Which one is your wife's foot?" He'd have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not walking around in high heels for their husband. I believe it's a thing. One other thing, the DSOs that are owned by men, I've noticed. I try to pick out these. And by the way, I'm real sensitive to the female male thing. I really am, because I grew up with 5 sisters. My brother wasn't born till after I had left home and went to college, because my parents were Catholic and they used all natural birth control. And that's my brother. That was a joke. And so
I did get that one.
You got that one. They use the Catholic birth control Vatican roulette. And but anyway, so I grew up with 5 sisters, and I couldn't even believe it. Like, we live next to the river. I could swim in the river, do anything in the river, but my sisters couldn't get within 10 feet of the edge. My mom would give me blue jeans and iron patches on the outside of the knee. Then she'd put them in dresses. Then if they got their dress dirty, they were in trouble. But I had patches, and I mean, it's like, it's like I looked at my 5 sisters, and it's like I used to think as a little kid, I'm glad I'm not a girl. I mean, God, they can't go swimming, they can't go fishing, they have to be home. If they weren't home when the street lights came on, I mean, they were grounded. If I didn't come home, my mom just assumed I spent the night at David Bordelon's or David Hornberry. You know, they just assumed but oh my gosh, it was just crazy. So I'm really sensitive to that girl issue thing. And all the male DSOs are saying, well, you know, and when I say who they're saying, they're telling this to private equity. They're trying to get more money. They're saying, well, you know, boys, you know, they want their own house. They're all going to want their own thing or whatever. But these girls, 2 things about girls they always say. Their husband actually has a job, whereas the male dentist, his spouse doesn't have a job. So when you're a male dentist, you're home, your wife's unemployed, burning $5,000 to $10,000 a month. But when you're a female dentist, your husband has a job earning $5,000 to $10,000 a month, and they don't want their own practice. So DSOs are going to take over. It's going to be like Walgreens and CVC for pharmacy, because as we've gone from 10% graduating women to 50%, they're all going to go work at a DSO. And then so I say, okay, so I go back, keeping it real. You know, you always want to see, well, how does this look in your world? So I go back to the class of 1987 UMKC. We had 20 women in there. Their average dental practice was bigger, more successful, made more money, and was more awesome than all the males. And I'm just like, where does this come from? So here it is 20 years later. What do you think? Do you think that the girls in dental school are all going to marry a boy dentist, physician, lawyer, and won't have to make money, and they just want a job at Heartland? Or what's the big one in California that, what's the Great Western and Pacific? Do you think they're all going to want to just come out of school and get a job at Great Western and Pacific? Or do you think they're going to be like you and brand their own green dentistry in San Francisco?
I honestly feel like they're probably going to seek out somebody like me and want a mentorship rather than going to the DSO. Like, I feel like they do that because they're forced. They don't have another option. Because it's the first place to get started. It's the first place where, you know, they'll be allowed to treat patients, because private practice, there is a certain amount of time that you have to get things done in. There's a certain amount of etiquette that you have to have. You also have to make sure that whatever you do does last. Because again, in my practice, I put a warranty behind my work. So I need to make sure whatever is done, it's going to last and the patient's going to be happy and satisfied. And so those are the things that a new graduate is going to struggle with. And so if there's majority of them who are smart, the go-getters, they're going to want to seek out somebody like me and say, hey, mentor me, show me the way, show me what you do, how you do it. So that way I can either work for you, or I can start my own practice or be a better practitioner wherever I go and not have to be at a DSO. But a lot of them tend to go to the DSO route because, you know, you're graduating 300-400 people a year. That's a lot for this area. You know, there are 300 or 400 people, you know, they're not 300 or 400 dentists looking for associates at the same time, or private practices looking for, associates at the same time.
When you said, show me the way, I think that was Peter Frampton Comes Alive. I think that was actually filmed in San Francisco. Do you remember that song, Frampton Comes Alive? It was the number one. Did you remember that, or is that the before your day? Do you remember that?
Probably before my day.
That was before your day? Yeah. When anybody says, show me the way, that was Peter Frampton. That was his song, and it was a live album. I think it was in San Francisco when he did that. But my gosh. Well, I'll tell you what. I had so much fun podcasting all 47 different Nammys. I'm still looking at your picture. I do like that one, inspiring total wellness through holistic and functional dentistry. That is just a succinct class deal. I'm so glad you weren't triggered by me calling you a tooth hugger. That is so funny. My God, that's funny.
That's too funny. I actually renewed the domain name yesterday.
You really are? You got the? Are you kidding me?
I got
Tooth
that
hugger.
15 years ago. Yes.
Oh my God! I'm gonna go to Google right now and see if Google finds it. Tooth hugger.
Toothhugger.com.
.com. I'll tell you what, I feel so bad on these. Oh my gosh, she is an official tooth hugger. That is so hilarious. I feel so bad when yesterday I was on the showing my 4-year-old granddaughter something, and she got She lost it with me. She took the phone out of my hand, and then she went to the site in like 2 seconds. But I mean, I got my readers on. I'm trying around. She doesn't have time for Grandpa. He's too slow. But hey, Nammy, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for being a role model to environmentalists, green dentistry. I really hope you watch that video of. I'll send it to you of me. Doing that, Find the Hidden Sugars with Grandpa, because, man, what a family event to, hey, this weekend, Grandpa's we're going to make all-natural toothpaste. I mean, I think that would make them brush their teeth a ton more if they made their own toothpaste with their mom and Grandpa. I mean, right?
Yeah, and they can put any flavor they want. You can change the flavors around. Just keep the base proper, and then they can change it to their flavor to bubble gum or whatever you wanted. Or
when I grew up in Wichita, I was in the big city, Wichita, right? Quarter million people, but Grandma and Grandpa on both sides were a 3-hour drive into Parsons, real small town, and I believed my whole life the coolest thing about spending night with Grandma and Grandpa is that, at our house we just made eggs for breakfast. But at Grandma and Grandpa's house, they didn't have indoor plumbing, and they had their own chicken coops, and you'd get up in the morning because the roosters woke you up, and you go out there, and you'd get your own eggs, and I just totally believed my whole life that your own eggs from Grandma's pen what tasted 5 million trillion times better than the eggs you bought at the store. And I bet you that I'm going to pass that on, my boys, my oldest boy, he has his own chicken pen, and I think that it would just be so cool to raise a bunch of grandkids that went off and made their own toothpaste the rest of their life. That would just be that was just worth everything. So please send me that video or post it on that Dental Town thread. How to make your own deal. And thank you so much for everything. And if you ever want to do an article or an online CE or anything, just move to the top because again. I just really, really excited about everything that you're doing and continue to do for dentistry.
Great. Thank you.
All right. You have a great day in San Fran. Okay. And every time you see that cell phone tower, you wave to my boys.
I will.
Okay, bye-bye. This is Grandpa Howie with a few of his grandchildren. How old are you, Taylor?
5.
How old are you, Danelle?
10.
10. How old are you, Lexi? 6. I'm trying to teach you today about hidden sugars. So Grandpa always fixes cavities, right?
Yeah.
And those cavities that eat your teeth, what's the only thing they eat?
Sugar.
Sugar, right. So is there any sugar in water?
No. No.
No. So I'm going to pour all this bottled water in this bowl. And then I'm going to boil that. I'm going to turn it on high. And when all the water is gone, we're going to see if there's anything in there, okay?
Okay.
So that's water. So then I have another one, Gatorade. Now, do you always hear that Gatorade's really healthy and good for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And athletes drink it?
Yeah.
But is there any sugar in it?
No.
You said there's no sugar in it?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? If you look on the label, it says sugar, 34 grams. You know what 34 grams of sugar is? Well, a sugar packet right here is 3.5 grams of sugar. So all of this sugar is in here. Whoa. And I'm going to show it to you. So what I want you to do is open up all these sugar packets and pour the sugar in this glass. And you're going to actually see the sugar. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the Gatorade in this bowl. And you're going to be in charge of the Gatorade. Okay, Lexi?
Okay.
And I'm going to turn it on high. Now, Danelle, how much sugar is in the Coke?
65 grams.
65 grams. This is 3.5 grams. So we divide 65 by 3.5, and it's all of this. So I want you to open up all those sugar packets and pour it in that glass. And then we're going to pour this Coke in this bowl, and we're going to turn it on high, and we're going to see if we cook out all the water, if we boil out all the water, what's left in there. And then, Taylor, what do you think is better for you to eat? Apple juice or eat an apple? You think the juice is better? Okay, well, Grandpa thinks that there's more sugar in here than there is in here, and cavities only eat sugar. So it says right here, 48 grams of sugar. So that would be all of this. So I want you to open up all these packets and pour them in there. And then Taylor, I'm going to pour the apple juice in here. And we're going to turn this on high. And now we're going to boil the apple juice, the Coke, the water, and the Gatorade. So look how much sugar you're putting in there. I mean, would you ever just eat that much sugar?
No. That's a lot of sugar.
That is a lot of sugar. So we're boiling away.
This.
Yep. Okay, in this time lapse, we're almost getting to the bottom, and this is what we talked about. What do you think has been better? To eat this apple
Eat the apple.
or to drink apple juice? So this little apple juice
Apple.
has 18 grams of sugar.
Okay.
Now there's 3.5 in each one of these. So 18, 3.5 twice would be 7, right?
Yeah.
2 more would be 14. So 14, 15, 16, 17 and a half. So a little more than that. So here's the point I'm trying to say. If I told you, do you want to eat 5 packets of sugar? Would
No.
you do that?
No.
No. But how long would it take you to drink this?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. But when you drink that in 2 seconds, would you realize that you just ate 5 packets of sugar? Would you rather drink this or eat this? But it's the same. And that's why, what did we have you do? Eating your apple. So when you go to the store and you tell your mom, oh, will you buy me apple juice? I like apple juice. Well, what would you do if your mom said, no, you just eat the sugar packet and drink some water with it? Would you want to do that?
No.
No, see, eat an apple, that's
Look
natural.
at that water. Then look at the.
And see, now we're getting down to the bottom. So look at this. See the water? Look at this.
There's no sugar.
What's in the bottom of the water?
Nothing.
Nothing. The water is all gone. Look at that, Taylor.
Look at that. Look at
Taylor.
that.
Nothing's in there. Okay, we can turn that off. Okay, so we turn the first one off and look in the bottom.
Nothing.
What do you see in there?
Nothing. Look at mine. Yeah, look at that, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to turn
That's
into
kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Into
Look
a
at it. It's
cake.
kind of like, what is that?
It looks like a blueberry muffin. The smoke is getting everywhere.
Look at that.
The smoke is getting everywhere in the house.
That is sugar.
Oh, it's right by us. Now there's going to work off. There's so much smoke everywhere.
Okay, so look at this. Which
Now
one was
that's
this?
the same
Which one was
thing.
this?
The Gatorade. Gatorade.
Gatorade. What do you see?
Oh my god. It's so burnt.
What is that?
It's burnt.
But what is it?
Sugar.
And look what's in the water. Look what's in the water. What was in the water? Okay, well, thanks for doing an experiment with Grandpa on uncovering hidden sugars.
Can we throw this away now?
All right, these days there are so many chemicals in the products that we eat and use on our skin and hair and everything to maintain our health. It is quite confusing and alarming if you actually read the label. So what if you could take the guesswork out of what you're giving your family when it comes to toothpaste and mouthwash and get peace of mind? Our next guest, Dr. Nammy Patel, is here to tell us how we can do just that. And I got to tell you, it smells really good right now, so I'm ready to just jump into this. But first, let's talk about some of the things that we think are good for us. Like you brought in like some toothpaste here with enamel, and it's supposed to whiten your teeth, and it's supposed to protect your teeth and your gums from gingivitis, but a lot of the stuff maybe not so healthy for us.
It's kind of scary, actually, Julie.
Okay.
If you look at a toothpaste like this, it's going to have over 20 ingredients in here.
Right.
And a lot of them we don't know where they come from, or
what
what
they do,
testing,
yeah.
or what they do, because there's not enough scientific data out there that tells us what it actually does.
Okay.
So my solution is to make your own.
Okay, and so when you make your own toothpaste, obviously gum disease is huge. You want to fight cavities, so I'm assuming you need fluoride. A lot of us drinking wines or coffee, so we want to be whitened. What is your solution to all of that?
Well, it's really simple. I have 5 ingredients.
Okay.
So my favorite is the coconut oil. Coconut oil is really great. Just like you said, gum disease. It fights gum disease. It kills off the bad bacteria.
Wow.
And also a natural whitener.
Really? Okay, so coconut oil. Okay, I got
So
you.
we've got our coconut oil here, and then my favorite is to add, I use a fantastic oil called On Guard.
Okay.
And it has cinnamon and cardamom.
And this is what I'm smelling?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Okay.
So I do about 20 drops of this, and I just mix it all together.
Okay.
Then I have some pumice. So pumice, again, is going to remove those coffee tea stains.
Perfect.
So that way we've got a half tablespoon of pumice here.
Now, does pumice also help whiten the teeth since it's
Yes,
removing?
exactly.
So I'm thinking pumice like you pumice your heels, ladies.
Just like that.
Okay,
It absolutely
good.
is.
Okay.
Absolutely. Then we've got some peppermint oil here, so I feel like you'd like to smell that too.
That smells really good. Okay.
So about 10 drops of that.
Okay.
And then I like a little bit of sea salt just to add a little flavor to it. So there we go. And all we have to do is mix, 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 and we're ready to go in a couple minutes here.
And then the consistency will, as you continue to mix.
Yes.
I guess harden up is not the right
Well,
word.
it will, because you know
Okay.
what? Coconut oil is actually at room temperature. This is actually warmed up. That's the reason why you can see it's an oil. But at room temperature, it will be solid.
Okay.
And as you can see right over here, it actually turns out to be really solid, just like a toothpaste.
Wow, this is pretty cool.
Yes.
And then how long does it have to sit up?
You know, you can start using it right away. I was actually going to say, do you want to try it out?
I'll try it. Okay,
Awesome.
sure.
Let's do it. Let's get you a toothbrush here.
Now, do you spit afterwards? I mean, since
You
this is all
have to.
natural. Okay, I
It
was like,
is. There you go.
I don't know where to do that ladylike on camera, but we'll figure it out.
And there's some water here for you. You can just spit right in.
So what
here
do I
if
do?
you
Just
like
scoop it in there?
Just scoop it in there. That's
Scoop it in there.
perfect. There
Okay.
you go.
All right, and I'm gonna brush. Okay, you talk while I do this.
Okay, so the greatest thing about making your own toothpaste is you know exactly what goes into it. I like my 5 simple ingredients, easy to pick up at the drugstore. The other thing you can also do is you can do it to your liking. So if you wanted to add more peppermint oil, or if you wanted to add more On Guard, like you said, you like the smell of it. And what I really like is sometimes I want to make toothpaste and mouthwash in one. There's
Okay.
some water here.
Can you put the camera on her? Okay.
So if you wanted to do customize it, so you can do toothpaste and mouthwash in one, so it works perfectly. And the best part about all of
I
this,
wasn't gonna do that on camera. But now I smell good, and I have minty fresh breath. A little salty for me.
Okay.
I know you added the salt. Oh, I need it. Can I get a napkin, Mikey? That is good though.
right? And it's almost like a mouthwash and toothpaste in one, right?
Yeah.
You almost don't need another thing.
That is really, really good. I like that. Thank you, my dear. Okay, and you do a mouthwash as well. Come on in.
Absolutely.
We're all family here. Thank you,
Thank
sir. Wow, that's really good. The breath smells fresh and clean, and you don't have that alcohol taste that you have when you typically use
Absolutely.
toothpaste.
And alcohol is actually bad for your gums, and also it dries out the tissues. So we definitely don't want alcohol in our mouthwash or toothpaste.
Okay, so what about the mouthwash?
Okay, so the mouthwash actually is, we have about 20 drops of the On Guard oil and also 10 drops of our peppermint oil. And then all we have to do is mix it with some water.
And where do you typically buy the On Guard oil?
I usually get mine at doTERRA.com, or
Okay.
you can even go, my favorite thing is Amazon. It's so convenient. It comes
Yes.
to our doorstep, so super easy to work with. So there you go. You've got another bowl there, just like
I
a
got
soup.
another bowl. Mom, forgive me, but we don't have a cup to pour this in. Okay. Oh, everybody in the control room is laughing at me. Now that tastes good. That has a nice flavor, a nice cinnamon flavor. And then now I have good breath. Now I'm ready to kiss. That's great.
Perfect.
Now, how long will this last? Is this typically the size you make when you put all these ingredients?
This is probably going to last about 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so
you just need very little, and it lasts you a really long time. You know, you got to brush twice a day.
right, absolutely. Now, what is the benefits of using this versus using some of the other brands that you bought? Is it that simple that we know what we're putting in our bodies?
Absolutely.
We know that alcohol is not good for the gums because it can damage the gums.
You know, a lot of the ingredients in toothpaste are really scary. There's even FB&D blue dye, which is actually made from coal tar.
Yeah.
And that can cause ADHD in children. So we
Right.
want to make sure that we really know what's going in
Is
here.
this safe for children? This
It
particular
is,
formula you put together?
Absolutely. Fluoride free.
Okay.
Absolutely safe for children, safe for adults, even the older geriatric population. Great. The coconut oil actually acts as a lubricant. So if they have dry mouth, this will be really
Yeah,
great.
my lips are not dry, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this. What about people who get those little tiny, I call them canker sores? Yes. Yeah, on the inside of your, like on your tongue or the inside of your lips or something.
Yes.
Will this help?
These will actually, because a lot of the canker sores are actually caused by.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of the canker sores are actually caused by a lot of the byproducts that come in regular domestic toothpaste here.
Okay.
So the natural ingredients are really great at helping out, especially the coconut oil. It has a natural, it kills bacteria and viruses as well.
Okay.
And especially the On Guard oil too, the cinnamon, the cardamom, actually boosts your immune response.
Oh, good.
So it actually will fight off bacteria and viruses as well, which is
You're
the
getting
canker
a
source.
lot of benefits from doing this at home yourself to fight off illness too. Peroxide and baking soda. That's like an old staple from a lot of families' homes. What do you say to that?
Peroxide and baking soda, it's okay if you use it once in a while. Every day is a little too much. You don't need a facial every day.
Right.
That's what peroxide and baking soda will do. It'll give you that facial. Products like these are really easy because it's kind of like using soap every single day to wash your skin.
Right.
They're very gentle. They do the perfect amount of whitening or getting rid of the stains.
Yeah.
And super easy and convenient. So.
Well, and if you're using the pumice, then that's also going to whiten the teeth, like you said earlier. So you really don't need to do the peroxide and the baking soda.
Absolutely.
Okay, and it's probably better for the gums.
Much better for the gums. Yes, peroxide can be very, especially if it's not diluted, it can be very toxic.
What do you say about flossing?
Gotta floss every single day. My favorite is called the cocoa floss.
Okay.
So of course, I'm a coconut fan here. So it has coconut oil with the floss already, and you can floss in between, and does the job. So which is really great too.
What about kids that are teething?
Kids that are teething, the best thing to do for kids is to use a finger brush.
Okay.
And also videos. It's really great to have kids watch TV as they're learning how to brush your teeth, because it's going to motivate them to want to do it themselves.
Okay.
And it's really nice. And then also they can try it themselves.
And
you
I
might
know-
want to do a tell, show, do technique.
So then again, the more natural products, the better for the children, for their teeth coming in and their gums, because I know a lot of times there's issues with all the juices that you give your child, then they get gum disease before they actually get teeth.
Yes, that and ADHD. That's very common with kids, right?
Right, that's crazy. All right, Dr. Nammy, this is great stuff. I like it. All right, I might snitch this one. Where do we find you and get more info?
You can go to drnammypatel.com. That's my website. Also, a lot of information you'll find in my book, Age with Style, Guide to a Youthful Smile and Healthy Living.
Perfect.
My practice website is sfgreendentist.com, SF as in San Francisco, greendentist.com, so you can grab us there too.
And is there any particular kind of toothbrush? I mean, you brought like the standard toothbrush. Is there...
Actually, that's actually a really fancy toothbrush.
Is it?
It is made out of recycled yogurt cups.
Recycled who?
Yogurt cups.
Yogurt cups. Okay, well, that's pretty cool then. I like it. I like it even more. Okay, so just your toothbrush and go to town.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Patel. This is good stuff. And it tastes great, too. All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. And stay with us. There's more of Let's Talk Live coming up right after the break.